007, turn right, heading 185, reduce speed 180 knots.
185 on the heading, 180 on the speed off air 007.
Speedbird 124, reduce speed 160 knots to 40 me.
Reduce 160 to 40, speed 124.
Hello there guys, hope you're all well. Matt here, and this is a follow-on video from my Rex and Active Sky settings from Wednesday. I told you in that video that I would be making a separate video on my Fsx settings, so here it is. First thing is my Fsx config. Now, a lot of people from the last video watch the videos, the new videos and the streams, and like have me down as some sort of, I don't know, it's like I'm lying about my settings or something. They're like, oh, can I have your new config, new this, new that? I don't have a new config. When I reformat my computer, yeah, what I do, ironically, is probably what most of you that watch my stuff do, is go to my video and download my old config. If nothing else, that video was there for me to be able to go back to and get my old settings. It works the best, for me anyway, and apparently for a lot of you guys, because you went crazy over it and you apparently really enjoyed it. So that's what I do. I go back to that and I grab the settings. There are a few things that I've changed, not because I needed to, just out of curiosity. One of those things is buffer pools. I think in the old config, buffer pools is turned on, or at least in the Directx 10 video it's turned on. They're now turned off. For me, I don't see any difference. It just is. It is what it is. I could turn them on right now, and I wouldn't see any difference. Everything else though is pretty much the same. I've still got IVO MTL. I've still got the fiber frame, whatever it is. I've still got the high memfix. Who doesn't? I've got it all. Nothing has changed, so I don't really know what to say on that front. Another thing I'll say about the Fsx config is that a lot of people say that they want to see the in-flight simulator graphics tabs, yeah. So and you customize it and you set your scenery density, your autogen density even, and stuff like that. When you put this config into your flight sim, it should set that up for you. And if it's not doing that, then there's obviously some sort of read and write issue there with your Windows copy. I guess maybe it's to do with UAC. And the way you can get rid of UAC is just to type msconfig in your run and go to Tools and then UAC, launch that, and make sure it's on Never Notify, and then you'll be able to use the config correctly. I guess that was just at one point that people made, but this should put it to everything that I have. Moving on from this though, the next thing is the Directx 10 fix. So I have run in Directx 10 now for well, since this fixer really came out, and I have never gone back. I don't know why people get so mad over Directx 10. It's really not that bad. Some people prefer it Directx 9 to Directx 10. I don't care if you do. It's not, but don't come into my video and start screaming about it, It's like the whole Fsx versus X-Plane debate. If you like something, then stick with it. If you want to change, then change. If you don't like it, then whatever. Who cares? It is what it is. You like your own thing. I like Directx 10. I use Directx 10, and this Directx 10 fixer has not really changed, I don't think. I still use 4 times on my anti-aliasing. The only thing I do is change the legacy to scenery. That fixes most things for me, as far as like black textures and stuff like that. Another thing about the Directx 10 scenery fixer is a lot of people say that they get like black textures and black squares for lights and stuff like that. When you install a new scenery, you always need to run this fixer again, and then if there are any incompatible effects with DirectX 10, it will come up with a little box saying, do you want to scan for textures, blah blah blah, effect changes. Press scan and let it convert them. I always revert them back. It makes a backup anyway. It will always revert them back if you switch to DirectX 9 again, just by pressing the switch button here. So I mean, that's really it as far as the Directx 10 fixer goes. Next thing is NVIDIA Inspector, which is here. I'll leave you the profiles and everything to download and put into your flight sim. That's not a problem. One thing I will say though is when you import it, everything is geared for this 4 times setting in the DirectX 10 fixer. You'll notice that 4 times here directly correlates to 4 times sparse grid super sampling, okay? When you import it, the only thing I will suggest you take a look at is this. Vertical sync, the refresh rate of your monitor. Mine is set to a quarter, and the reason why it's set to a quarter is if I look here and go to advanced settings and monitor, you see here mine's at 144 Hz is what it can go up to because it's a 144 Hz monitor. Yours will most likely be 60 Hz, yeah? And at 60 Hz, you can't run it at a quarter. Well, you can, but it'll look horrible. So run it at half refresh rate even. I had a Jonathan Ross moment there. Yeah, so half refresh rate if you were running at 60 Hz. I can't remember what the value is for a quarter. For a third. But I've only ever used half and a quarter. And I keep it at that. And really, that is it. So there's no conspiracy. There's no, oh my god, your Fsx is constantly changing. You keep changing your settings and not updating us. I really don't. I don't have the time, if I'm honest with you, to constantly play around with it. My next challenge is to get P3D running as good as I can get Fsx running. Once I do that, I will let you know, and I will give you all of the relevant configs and stuff like that for now. But I'm running everything as you can see it, nothing hidden, no magic tweaks. I will say one thing though, I run a pretty tanky system, yeah, and I run a 4790K. In fact, let's just get my my computer up here. So I run a 4790K. It says 4 GHz, but it's not. It's at 4.8 because Windows doesn't show the overclock. I'm running 16 gig of really good RAM. It's 2800 megahertz RAM. And I'm running a GTX 780 at 3 gigabytes, yeah? I'm also running here, this is a 1 terabyte SSD, okay? Flight Sim is on that, you can see it there. Flight Sim is on that 1 terabyte SSD. So that's why I can get the loading times, the performance, etc, etc. If you have a lesser powered PC, you're going to see a difference in performance. It's not a magic cure, Flight Sim is so old that you can throw a ridiculous amount of hardware at it, and it will eventually run fine. But a lot of people that that want to run all of the newer stuff like PMDG and Orbex and everything like that, you're either going to have to sacrifice quality for performance or performance for quality. It's one or the other. It will never work as flawlessly as you really want it to. Again, there is no magic cure. So there we go. I think I've said enough. I'll leave all the links to everything below. And if you do have any problems, then feel free to comment underneath. I don't really know what I can say to you, but I guess if it's something that I'm aware of how to fix, I'll let you know. But yeah, I think we're done. So thanks for watching. I hope it was remotely useful, and let me know. I mean, maybe I think I've mentioned this before actually. Maybe it would be useful. I think I'm going to do this on Project Fly actually. Is to add a section where you can upload your config and users can give you feedback on it based upon your system specifications, because I think there will be enough people that have a similar system. So maybe you can share your configs with each other. Maybe that's something we can do. We'll see. Anyway, as far as Project Fly goes as well, thank you very much. The uptake on that has been absolutely immense. I'll leave the link to Project Fly below if you want to go register and check that out. We've welcomed a lot of people, thousands, way more than I ever expected. So it's really awesome. Version 1.1 will be out very, very soon. Okay, I've said enough. I'm going. I need to go and play some H1Z1 because that is what my life has become from now on. I'm taking a little bit of a break from Flight Sim today. So I just thought I'd just do a quick config video and let you know what's going on in my Flight Sim. Okie dokie. Until tomorrow, I'll see you later. Ta-ra!